Asterisk, the world is chaos, ever-changing, unpredictable, and indifferent to comfort. The weak resist change, the strong adapt and thrive. If you're still clinging to rigidity, still letting ego dictate your actions, still fearing uncertainty, then you're already losing. But if you're ready to embrace adaptability, to thrive in chaos, and to master change, then this is for you. Welcome to the fight. Asterisk, the world you live in is a brutal, relentless beast, clawing and tearing at every inch of your existence without mercy or remorse. It spins on an axis of chaos, indifferent to your pain, your dreams, your fragile hopes for a smooth ride through life. This world is not a place of comfort or fairness. It is a crucible forged in fire and blood, a place where only the ruthless survive. The weak, blinded by fear and denial, resist the inevitable tides of change. They cling to the past, to illusions of safety, to the idea that the world will somehow pause for them to catch their breath. But the world doesn't care about the weak. It grinds forward without hesitation, a storm that swallows the slow, the fearful, and the stagnant whole. Listen closely. The world is chaos, a tempest without mercy or pause. And if you want to rise from the ashes, if you want to carve your name into the very bones of existence, you must stop resisting that chaos. You must stop begging for comfort, for ease, for some magic moment when everything falls into place. That moment will never come. The world is not a waiting room for the timid. It respects no one who clings to safety. It bows only to those who can dance with the storm, who can break through the noise and roar louder than the chaos itself. Adaptation isn't optional, it is your only weapon and shield. You must mold yourself into a force of nature, shifting, bending, and striking with lethal precision. The strong do not wait for the world to make space for them, they carve it out with their own bloodied hands. They become architects of chaos, not its victims. When the world turns on you, when the ground beneath your feet crumbles and the sky darkens with every challenge, you stand taller. You grow stronger. You become the storm. There is no peace in this world without struggle. There is no victory without pain. The weak waste their lives dreaming of ease, while the strong wake every day hungry for battle. They welcome the struggle because they know it for what it truly is, a crucible of transformation. Each hardship, each cut and bruise shapes them into something fierce and unbreakable. They understand that comfort is a lie, a cage built by the weak to trap themselves in false security. To rise, you must tear down those walls. You must live in the fire, breathe in the chaos, and command it like a warlord commanding an army. The world demands a price that will take everything you have if you don't stand tall and meet it head on. The weak fade away into the shadows, forgotten and trampled. But the strong, they rewrite the rules. They claim the chaos as their kingdom. They don't survive by chance, they conquer by choice. So stop waiting. Stop wishing for the world to change in your favor. The world is chaos wild, ruthless, unforgiving. Master it. Become the storm itself. Only then will the world bow to you, not because it owes you respect, but because it cannot do otherwise. In this world, adaptation is power. Chaos is opportunity, and you are either the master or the victim. Choose wisely. True power hides in the shadows where others see weakness. It is not about breaking under pressure or folding to every gust of wind. It is about bending with purpose, evolving with ruthless precision, and never losing the essence of who you are. This is the secret the weak will never understand. They parade their stiffness like armor, mistaking inflexibility for strength. But that brittle shell shatters under the first real storm. The strong, they move like shadows in the chaos fluid, unpredictable and unstoppable. Adaptability is the silent weapon wielded by the masters of survival. It is not submission, it is the highest form of dominance. To change, to shift your shape without losing your soul, that is the line that separates the rulers from the ruled. The weak cling desperately to old versions of themselves, afraid that change means defeat. But the strong know better. They welcome transformation like a forge welcomes fire, burning away the useless and forging something sharper, tougher, more lethal. If you want to rise above the ashes, you must shed the chains of rigidity. You must become water capable of carving mountains, drowning armies, and flowing through the narrowest cracks. Adaptability means you can strike from anywhere, anytime. It means you survive the impossible, thrive in chaos, and rewrite the rules of the game as you go. It's not about losing yourself, it's about refining yourself, distilling your power into a form that cannot be broken. This world will test you, try to mold you into something weak and broken. But those who master adaptability will rise stronger, smarter, and more dangerous than ever before. They don't fear change, they own it. Because adaptability is strength. The ultimate strength. The path to greatness. And if you want to conquer, you must walk it without hesitation or regret. Clinging to the past, to worn-out beliefs and outdated methods, is a slow death, a trap laid by your own ego. Pride blinds you, chaining you to a sinking ship while the world drowns in its chaos around you. True power demands something far harder than stubbornness. It demands humility, the brutal willingness to strip away every illusion that no longer serves your rise. Ego is the silent assassin waiting in the shadows, whispering lies that keep you shackled, softening your edge until you become nothing but a faded ghost of what you could be. The weak mistake ego for strength, parading arrogance as armor, believing that holding tight to their fragile sense of self will save them. But ego is a parasite, devouring your potential from within, blocking the path to true greatness. It blinds you to your own flaws, deafens you to the lessons carved from pain, and suffocates the hunger that fuels transformation. Those shackled by ego are destined to crumble when the storm hits, brittle and broken beneath the weight of their own vanity. The strong, they know that ego is the enemy. They understand that to rise, you must first kill your pride, tear it out like a cancer, and swallow your humility like poison that purifies the soul. Humility isn't weakness. It's the iron will to face your own darkness, to admit when you're wrong, and to discard the dead weight holding you back. It's the ruthless self-awareness that lets you evolve without losing yourself, shedding false layers to reveal the core of unbreakable strength beneath. If you want to rise, if you want to become unstoppable, you must reject ego. You must dismantle the fortress of pride that traps your growth and embrace the relentless truth of humility. Ego will bleed you dry if you let it, but humility sharpens you into a weapon forged by the fire of real struggle. Ego is the enemy. Crush it or be crushed. There is no evolution without pain. No transformation without discomfort that tears through the soul and strips away every comforting lie you've been clinging to. The world throws you into the fire, forcing you to stare into the void of uncertainty where your deepest fears lurk, waiting to drag you down into oblivion. This crucible of agony is not a curse, it is the forge where the weak are burned away and the strong are hammered into something fierce and unbreakable. Growth is not a gentle climb. It is a brutal battle fought on the battlefield of pain. The weak see pain as an enemy, a cruel torment to be avoided at all costs. They build walls to shield themselves, anesthetizing their senses to survive, but in doing so, they bury themselves alive beneath their own fears. They run from pain, but pain hunts them relentlessly, gnawing away at their resolve until nothing remains. They never rise because they refuse to confront the very force that shapes greatness. The strong understand that pain is the path. Pain is the relentless teacher that strips away weakness, tearing apart the illusions of comfort and exposing raw, naked truth. Pain forces you to shed your limitations, to burn down the broken parts of yourself and rebuild from the ashes, stronger, sharper, and more relentless than ever before. It is a brutal ally, demanding sacrifice but rewarding those who dare to endure with power beyond measure. If you want to rise, if you want to break through the chains of mediocrity and claim your place among the relentless few, you must embrace pain. You must walk through the fire with open eyes and a heart hardened by struggle. Growth demands pain. It demands that you become comfortable with suffering, that you learn to wield it like a weapon rather than cower before it like prey. The world will crush the weak underfoot, only the strong rise through pain, sculpted by it, reborn in its ruthless flames. In this unforgiving world that spins faster with each passing second, standing still is a death sentence. Every moment you waste clinging to what you already know, the ground beneath you shifts, cracks, and swallows you whole. Survival isn't a given, it's a battlefield where only the prepared thrive. And what separates the predators from the prey is simple: skills. The more weapons you carry in your arsenal, the more unstoppable you become. Skills are the currency of power. They are the armor that shields you from collapse, the sword that cuts through obstacles, and the ladder that pulls you out of the abyss. The weak fool themselves into believing that their current skills are enough, that their past victories will carry them through the storms ahead. They become complacent, their minds rusting, their edges dulling. They fall behind while the world accelerates, and when the moment comes, they crumble like brittle bones under pressure. But the strong, those destined to rise, know that survival demands relentless evolution. Adaptability is not a buzzword. It is a doctrine written in sweat and blood. It requires constant hunger, a ruthless drive to learn, to master new crafts, and to expand the reach of your power. If you want to rise, if you want to stand unshaken amid the chaos, you must become a relentless student of the grind. You must devour knowledge like a beast starved, sharpening your mind and body with every lesson, every failure, every moment of pain. Expanding your skill set is not optional, it is the only path to relevance, to dominance, to survival. Because in this world, skills equal survival. They are your lifeline, your weapon, and your legacy. Without them, you are nothing but prey waiting to be hunted. Build your arsenal or be destroyed. You cannot bend, shift, or rise if you don't first confront the raw truth of who you are. Adaptation doesn't start in the world around you, it begins in the shadowed corners of your own mind. The chains that hold you back are forged from limiting beliefs, toxic habits, and a mindset hardened by fear and complacency. To break free, you must tear down those walls piece by piece, exposing every crack, every lie you tell yourself. This brutal excavation is uncomfortable, painful, and relentless, but it is the foundation of true transformation. The weak dismiss self-awareness as some trivial luxury, a pointless indulgence in their shallow worlds. They ignore the whispers of their own soul, blind to the power that lies within understanding themselves deeply. They stumble through life like puppets, controlled by unseen forces, their ego, their fears, their insecurities, never questioning, never growing. But the strong know better. They know that self-awareness is the ultimate weapon in the war for greatness. It's the mirror that reveals your true enemy, yourself, and the map that guides you beyond every limitation. If you want to rise, you must stare yourself down in the darkest mirror and refuse to look away. Embrace self-awareness like a warrior embraces their blade, because it cuts through illusion and weakness with ruthless precision. Self-awareness is not weakness. It is the raw, unfiltered power that fuels every change, every victory, every step toward dominance. It forces you to challenge your habits, to question your motives, and to reshape your very mindset into something sharper, stronger, and unstoppable. Without self-awareness, you are lost a ship without a rudder, drifting aimlessly until wrecked by the storms. But with it, you become a force of nature, unbreakable and relentless. The path to greatness is carved by those who understand themselves fully, who wield self-awareness as power. If you want to rise, embrace it without hesitation. Because self-awareness is power. The key to surviving and dominating in this brutal world is balance. It's not about frantic bursts of effort or fleeting moments of motivation. It's about relentless, unyielding consistency. Day after day, grind after grind, forging discipline into a weapon sharp enough to carve through any obstacle. Consistency is the bedrock beneath every great transformation, the steady flame that fuels your ability to bend and shift when the world demands it. The weak fool themselves into thinking adaptability is some flashy skill, a quick trick they can summon when the heat is on. But adaptability isn't a fleeting move, it is a mindset rooted deep in the daily discipline of effort and learning. Without consistency, you're a leaf blown about by every storm, fragile and directionless. But with it, you become the storm itself, unpredictable, unstoppable, and deadly precise. Consistency is the silent engine that powers true adaptability. It hones your skills, sharpens your mind, and steels your resolve, so when chaos strikes, You don't break, you pivot. You evolve. You dominate. The strong understand that adaptability doesn't come from luck or sudden inspiration. It is earned through the grind, the repetition, the daily commitment to becoming better than yesterday. If you want to rise, you must embrace this brutal truth. You must build your foundation on unwavering consistency, discipline that refuses to waver, effort that never fades, and a hunger for learning that devours every excuse. Because consistency fuels adaptability, and adaptability is the lifeblood of survival and conquest in a world that never stops changing. Be relentless. Be steady. Be unstoppable. The unknown doesn't hunt you, it's the fear lurking in your mind that does. Fear is the invisible predator that freezes your blood, chains your will, and steals your future before you even take a step. It's the poison whispered by your doubts, the shadow that looms over every choice, every change, every moment of uncertainty. But the unknown, it's just a blank canvas, a battlefield waiting to be claimed. The difference between those crushed by the weight of the future and those who rise like titans lies in one brutal truth: fear can be killed. Curiosity is the weapon. The weak tremble before fear, believing it to be an unstoppable force. They let hesitation root them to the spot, trapped in a prison of their own making, convinced that the unknown is their executioner. But the strong understand that fear is only a shadow, and curiosity is the light that exposes it. When you replace hesitation with relentless curiosity, every shift, every twist in life becomes a door and opportunity waiting to be seized, not a threat to be avoided. Curiosity is the fierce hunger that propels you into the darkness, tearing down walls of doubt and smashing the chains of hesitation. It kills fear with the sharp edge of discovery and the blazing fire of relentless questions. The strong do not fear what they do not know. They hunt it down, dissect it, and claim it as their own. Because curiosity is not just a mindset, it's the path to greatness, the fire that fuels every rise, every conquest, every step beyond the limits. If you want to rise, you must embrace curiosity with savage hunger. Let it devour fear and silence hesitation. Step into the unknown not as a victim, but as a predator. Because curiosity kills fear. It breaks chains, shatters walls, and forges champions from the ashes of doubt. The unknown isn't the enemy, fear is. Kill fear with curiosity or be consumed by it. Those who constantly evolve live in perpetual motion. They don't wait for change. They become the change. Fear has no grip on those already moving forward, charging relentlessly into the unknown, fueled by a force that refuses to be stopped. To stay stagnant is to rot, to decay, to become nothing but a forgotten shadow swallowed by the unforgiving tides of time. Momentum is the pulse of survival, the beating heart of power, and without it, you are dead before you even begin. The weak sit and wait, mistaking momentum for luck or some fleeting gift bestowed upon the chosen few. They hope, they pray, they dream of the day the wind carries them forward without effort. But the strong, the real warriors know the brutal truth. Momentum is not given, it is taken. It is forged in the sweat of relentless effort, hammered out in the fires of discipline and unwavering commitment. Momentum is earned in the daily grind, the repeated push beyond exhaustion, the refusal to surrender even when every fiber screams to stop. If you want to rise, you must become a force in motion. You must harness momentum like a weapon, a tidal wave that sweeps away doubt, fear, and weakness. Embrace the grind, the struggle, the endless battle to keep moving forward because momentum is everything. Without it, you are lost, caught in the quicksand of complacency, dragged down by the weight of hesitation. With it, you become unstoppable, a living storm that reshapes the world in your image. Momentum is the fuel that drives greatness. It is the relentless current beneath every victory, every conquest, every rise from the ashes. If you want to dominate, you must embrace momentum, because momentum is everything. Life doesn't hand out mercy, it rewards those who bend, shift, and mold themselves to its relentless rhythm. The rigid crack under pressure, shattering like brittle glass when the world pushes too hard. The fearful stand frozen, trapped in the paralyzing grip of doubt, watching as opportunities slip through their fingers like smoke. But the adaptable, they rise from the ashes of destruction. They seize control, and they conquer. They don't stumble through life as mere pieces on a board. They become a players, the masters of the game. The weak fool themselves into believing life is a gamble, a roll of the dice where luck decides their fate. They surrender to chance, hoping the hand they're dealt is good enough to carry them through. But the strong know the brutal truth: life is a game of adaptability, a relentless battle where survival depends on your ability to read the board, anticipate the moves, and strike with ruthless precision. It's not luck, it's mastery. If you want to rise, you must stop playing the victim and start mastering the game. Learn its rules, understand its chaos, and bend it to your will. Adapt your strategies, evolve your tactics, and never become predictable. The world respects only those who refuse to be pawns, those who claim the crown through unyielding strength and cunning. Master the game or be crushed beneath its wheels. There is no middle ground. The choice is yours: rise as the master or fall as the pawn. The world doesn't pause, it rages in chaos, a storm that swallows the weak and elevates the relentless. To survive, you don't just endure, you master it. Adaptability isn't some fleeting trait. It is raw, unshakable strength forged in the fires of change. But beware, ego stands in your way, a silent enemy that blinds and breaks those who cling to pride. True growth demands pain, the kind that tears you down so you can build a fortress stronger than before. Skills are your lifeline, the sharp tools that carve your path through the wilderness of survival. Self-awareness is your secret weapon, the power to see through your own darkness and wield it as fuel. Without it, you stumble blindly. With it, you become unstoppable. But none of this matters without consistency, the ruthless, daily grind that sharpens adaptability until it becomes second nature. Fear lurks in the unknown, but curiosity slays it, turning hesitation into opportunity. Momentum is your heartbeat, the relentless force that propels you beyond every limit. Life is a game of brutal chessboard where you either master the moves or become another forgotten pawn. There's no room for weakness here. If you're ready to embrace adaptability, to thrive in chaos, and to wield change like a weapon, then this is your crucible. The art of adaptability is calling. Master it, own it, and rise. Asterisk if this resonated with you, if you're ready to stop clinging to rigidity and start embracing adaptability, then hit that subscribe button. This is just the beginning. The journey to greatness is long, but it's worth it, and I'll be here every step of the way to guide you. So subscribe now, and let's rise together, asterisk.